Fox 5 photojournalist Ama Arthur-Asmah uncovered some of the D.C. area's incredible but less talked about museums. And today we're heading inside the Art Museum of the Americas.
We are a small museum in the heart of Washington, D.C. This is the Art Museum of the Americas of the Organization of American States. We are the very first museum of Latin American art and the Caribbean in the Washington, D.C. area and in the United States. My name is Adriana Espina, and I am the director of the Art Museum of the Americas of the Organization of American States. Our exhibitions are really rich, very unique. These are exhibitions that you won't find at the Smithsonian. When our visitors come to the museum, they get to see how diverse and wide the Americas are. Here we represent several identities. We represent people from Argentina, from Canada, from the Caribbean, from actually the Spanish-speaking Caribbean, the English-speaking Caribbean, the French-speaking Caribbean, Central America. And those are very different cultures that have a tremendous amount of art. And we are a place to come and learn about this art and these cultures. We also work with the values of the Organization of American States. Organization of American States, it is an international organization that works for the Americas. So our exhibitions are based on issues of democracy, human rights, development, and security. And our slogan is more rights for more people. This building was built in 1912 by architects Paul Philippe and Albert Kesley, who designed the entire campus of the Organization of American States. And this precise room where we are is influenced by Mesoamerican motifs. The architects actually traveled to Mexico, they learn about the cultures, they learn about the motifs, but they came to work on the building, and these are their own interpretations. So the museum is located on 18th Street and Constitution, right where Virginia meets Constitution Avenue. It's free to visit. We are open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we hope you can join us. We are here to serve our audiences as wide as they are and to offer something unique for them.
It's not some tired old dusty museum. My name is Dr. Andrew Hammond, and I'm the historian and curator here at the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C. Nowhere else in the world has this depth and breadth of objects on the secret history of intelligence and espionage. You don't have to believe me, it's in the Guinness Records book. Everyday items can be used to gather information, teeth with places to hide secret information, like a fake glass eye that's used to hide information. On the surface, it just looks like a very classy men's jacket, but actually there's a hidden camera in one of the buttonholes. How many people do you see every day with buttons? Imagine if one of those people had a button that was also a camera that was spying on you. I think it's one of those rare museums where adults and children enjoy it equally well. So this is actually a piece of a tunnel that was built by the British and the Americans to go underneath the Soviet embassy in Berlin and to listen to what they were doing. This was top secret, and we have a piece of it here. There's not many other museums where you can hear the story of a top secret operation. So this is a story to rescue some of the Americans who were stranded in Iran during the Iranian Revolution in 1979. The role of the secret operation was kept classified for many years. It was unclassified, and then it later became famous through the Ben Affleck movie, which went on to win an Oscar, Argo. Almost every single part of American history is tied up with intelligence and espionage. If you come to visit on the 4th of July, you can get a very relevant history lesson. Because behind me right now is a letter that George Washington wrote to set up America's first spy ring. Why? Well, New York City at this time was occupied by the British. We have the original copy here. This letter actually, in some ways, is one of the founding documents of spying, of intelligence in America. We're not an investigative museum. We don't go out there to try to discover secrets that we're going to tell against the will of people that were involved in those various operations. We're here to tell the story of the past, the present and the future of intelligence and espionage, but we do so in a way that doesn't get ourselves or anyone else in trouble. If it's your first time coming to the Spy Museum, the location's excellent, really, because it's connected to L'Enfant Plaza metro stop. So it's very easy to get here by metro. There's fun, there's education, there's information, there's interactives. We suggest maybe budgeting 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, to go through the exhibit space. If you want to learn about the history of some of the most fascinating objects in the world, if you want to hear incredible stories about what human beings done in the past, if you want to understand the world in which you live, you just have to go to the Spy Museum.
I don't think there's any other poetry community in the country as beautiful as the one in D.C.
American Poetry Museum is redefining the word museum.
You come here, you feel your spirit. And when you leave, you share that with whoever you can. My name is Sammy Miranda. I am board chair and programs director.
My name is John Westbay, and I'm the founder of the American Poetry Museum in Washington, D.C. The American Poetry Museum is a museum that celebrates poetry and brings together local, national, international poets to celebrate poetry.
It's a museum because when you go to museums, you go for experiences.
It is a space for engagement, absolutely, not just a place for passive learning or passive looking at things on walls. You're going to be able to meet and interact with people who are poets, artists.
Poetry is pushed out to people.
Once a month, we have a reading where we bring 2 poets together and a trio of musicians. The trio opens up with a 30-minute set. The poets then read for about 30 to 40 minutes, accompanied often by the musicians, and then the musicians close it out. And when that happens, we call that Poetry Church.
It came to be in 2004 as a part of my college thesis, and I wanted to bring together things I loved, which was the poetry community and was museums, and I wanted to really challenge the definition of both of those things. The word museum, essentially, to me, means a place that holds stories. It also holds objects, but the objects are meaningless without the story. And so when you're talking about collecting something like poetry, poetry really is based in the spoken word. It's based in literary expression.
Paranoia, cosmic denial.
Poetry begs something that must be explored further through connection and conversation.
We set up this table so that folks can feel free to create their own work, to have conversations across the table, or to just sit and read, or sit in silence if they like. It's that place where we gather. It's like to share in a meal, and the meal is poetry.
Our location is here at the wonderful Monroe Street Market. It's here in Northeast D.C., right across the street from Catholic University.
We do not charge admission. We are a nonprofit, so we take donations if people wish to do that. We are open 2 evenings a week, so Thursday and Friday evening from 5 to 7, so that way folks can come after work. We are open on the weekend, on Saturday from 9 to 5, and on Sunday from 2 to 5.
It's not like any other museum. You come here to really get genuine connection with people, with poets, with art, and you leave changed.
I'm the founder of Planet Word, and let's go on a tour inside. It is a place of learning here, but in a more fun, informal way. This is our amazing word wall gallery. It's called Where Do Words Come From? The word wall is built out of 1,000 three-dimensional words.
I understand you're a retired teacher.
I am, yes.
You're still doing it, so you're not so retired.
I retired in 2011, but I wasn't ready to leave literacy behind me. I love teaching reading, so I tried a few different things, and then I read about a new museum in New York City, the Museum of Mathematics, and they didn't have a collection, no artifacts, just experiences to bring math to life. I said, that's what I can do. And that's how it all started. We found a way for books to come to life. But let me show you. You let it fall open. This is crazy. Wait, no. And you put it in this holder. It's like a little movie trailer that makes you want to read that book.
And the kids are engaging, well, especially in the karaoke room.
I get tears in my eyes sometimes when I see people in the karaoke room. The lyrics are annotated on the screen. The people coming together who don't even know each other, singing together, laughing, telling jokes. It's very heartwarming. This was a public elementary school. It was built in 1869. Here you can see some of the features that make this building a National Historic Landmark. The wide stairs, the marble landing. When I was a little girl, my favorite book was The Secret Garden. And you know, the author of The Secret Garden lived for a time 1 block away from Planet Word, from the Franklin School. And when I found that out, it was like, this is calling to me. I have to rent this building. So all our restrooms, and we have restrooms on each of our 5 floors, are tiled with different language things. We're just flush with bathroom humor. To pee or not to pee, that is the question. Before I became a real teacher, I taught an extracurricular class out of my home, and that convinced me I should become a real teacher. And so I went back to graduate school and got a master's in education. I was in my 40s, but I kept telling people, don't write me off. Just because I've been a housewife and followed my husband all around the world for a long time, I'm not done. This is our selfie wall. Oh, what's she doing?
In a pickle.
She's in a pickle. This is a museum for everybody. You can participate and exercise our human superpower, which is using words and language.
So the Rubin Museum is the only museum solely dedicated to showcasing contemporary art in Washington. I guarantee you, if you come to this museum more than once in the same week, you'll see something new that you didn't see before. My name is Caitlin Berry, and I'm the director of the Rubin Museum, DC. Don and Mira Rubin are the founders of this collection and started collecting in 1965 using a small percentage of Mira's salary as a Head Start teacher when Don was in medical school. The first museum was founded in Miami in 1993 and was the Rubin family collection. In 2019, they became the Rubin Museum and moved into the space that they're in now. The lower level of this museum is really special and kind of a sleeper. I always tell people, don't miss the basement. So we are in the midst of an installation by John Miller called A Refusal to Accept Limits. So you're meant to kind of meander through the space. So this space is really special. This building opened in 1906 as Cardozo Elementary School and expanded in 1927 to become Randall Junior High School. We are actually standing in the former auditorium of Randall Junior High School, where Marvin Gaye would have been singing with the Glee Club on the stage just behind you. Marvin actually graduated in 1954 and of course went on to create one of the most illustrious musical careers in U.S. history and throughout the world. You can see, you know, the original brickwork that was part of this institution, the archways, the original wood floors, and actually all of the benches that you'll see in our galleries are made from reclaimed ceiling beams from the oldest part of the building. We're walking into a gallery completely given over to Hank Willis Thomas's unbranded Reflections in Black by Corporate America. He's removed the branding from these images and is asking us to consider the use of the black figure in marketing campaigns. This wonderful piece behind me is by the beloved Kehinde Wiley, and the sweeping scale is something that you really can't find anywhere else in Washington. Our recent partnership with Grace Street Coffee has been a wonderful addition to our museum. So when visitors come to the museum, they can enjoy coffee or tea before they come in or after they leave the museum. We're located at 65 I Street Southwest, so we are a proud resident of the Southwest community. We're open Wednesday through Sunday. We are actually free for DC residents. We really want the local community to feel at home here, come enjoy the neighborhood, have a cup of coffee, and experience this museum.
We're one of Washington's best-kept secrets. This museum is dedicated to telling the history of the transmission of the Bible, the texts, the stories from the Bible, and the impact of the Bible. My name is Brian Hyland, and I'm the senior curator here at Museum of the Bible. Our mission here at Museum of the Bible is to invite all people to engage with the transformative power of the Bible. What we have right over here is what we call the Bodmer Psalms. It is a late 3rd, early 4th century text of the Psalms that is the most complete text of Psalms that comes from the ancient world. We have the Wicked Bible, and that's the one where one word was left out in the commandments, and so it says, "Thou shalt commit adultery." Everybody loves that story. Other things that you should see if you're here, you need to go down to the impact floor and see the new installation that we have about Elizabeth Elliot and her life. We also, on that floor, have a variety of different Bibles. We're the first ones printed in America, for example, that was printed in Wampanoag and Native American language. It's not something that you see every day. And if you're here, I highly recommend everybody to visit the stories of the Bible, the Hebrew Bible on the 3rd floor, and then walk through our recreation of what Nazareth might have been like in the 1st century. This is a microform Bible that was brought to the moon by Edgar Mitchell, an Apollo 14 astronaut. And so we have our very own copy of the Lunar Bible. We will be open on the 4th of July, and when you're here, you can see a full-scale model of the Liberty Bell. It turns out that there is a Bible verse from Leviticus that is written around on it, on the inside. And so that is why we have it. Come to the museum with an open mind. It's a huge museum. There's exhibits on 6 different floors, and there are temporary exhibits, permanent exhibits, and it's going to take you a long time. So I would suggest you pick an area that you want to see, and then catch a couple of other things, and then come back another time and get a different view. There's so much space in this museum. I did the math and calculated it down that there's 7.47 football fields worth of space in this building. We're open 7 days a week. We open at 10 in the morning, and we go till 5 in the evening. We're located just 2 blocks south of the National Mall. If you know where Air and Space and the American Indian museums are, that road, follow that south 2 blocks, and you come right to our front door. We are always ready to greet people.